So I originally had this video planned for yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, but whilst I was making it, I thought to myself, why not just wait for more details to come out surrounding this whole thing, specifically the manifesto, right? The motive. However, as of making this video, we still don't have any answers surrounding that. In fact, the Nashville police have come out and said they don't intend to release the manifesto whilst an open investigation is occurring, which is raising many questions for a lot of people, because if this was a very different narrative, would we have some sort of clear indication as to why this tragedy happened? I think so. Before we carry on, I just want to say my thoughts and prayers are obviously with all the families that were involved with this, the school, the area that it took place, Nashville as a whole. When I saw this being played out, when I saw the details emerging, I was honestly shocked, and it's a truly horrifying thing that nobody should have to go through. As I'm sure you're all aware, Nashville, America, not even though the world, was rocked by a mass shooting that took place at a Christian school. And it's rocked many, not only because of the ages of the people that had their lives taken, but also because of the person behind the gun. Audrey Elizabeth Hale, a 28-year-old female who identified as a transgender man, shot 6 innocent people, 3 adults and 3 children, and all of those kids were 9 years old. Even saying that right now and trying to wrap my head around it is very hard. This was clearly a deeply disturbed individual, and you have to thank the police officers who took action very quickly. You know, when they arrived at the scene, they were very swift and they handled it very well, I think, you know, because it kind of stopped them from doing any more harm, which, as we learned, that was the intended plan. You know, there were other locations that were considered. You know, before we learned the identity of this person, the left, the far liberals, were already getting ready to use, you know, their excuses, who to blame. They were ready to blame somebody or something. And then we learned the identity. We learned that this person identified as transgender, and the whole stance changed. And if I'm going to be honest, I've never seen anything like this. You know, somehow we've managed, well, not us, but people on the internet, social media, Twitter, have managed to spin it so much that they're painting this person as the victim. You know, the news corporations, some of them fail to even include that they're transgender in the headline. Now, let's be honest, right? Let's just tell it how it is. If this was a very different narrative, if this was a straight white guy and he walked into a place and shot people of a different background, the headline would read first, racism. Everyone would be saying this is a racist attack. But because obviously this doesn't fit the narrative, we have to ignore that, right? And we put the blame somewhere else. We even have people like the Trans Resistance Network. I didn't even know this was a thing, but they sent out a statement amplifying how a load of people feel from that certain side, and they want to try and make it look like this person, as I said, is the victim. Now, you can pause this statement on your screen, you can take a look through it, but in general, they're saying, you know, it was a tragedy that children lost their lives. However, the second and more complex tragedy is Audrey Hale themselves, because they felt they had to go and commit this act to be seen. The lives of trans people is very hard, and we ask the news media to be respectful of the pronouns this person used. How have we reached this point? And I truly mean this, right? How have we reached this point where, depending on how somebody identifies, where they come from, you know, that then determines whether they're a victim or not. Because this person is trans, well, they must also be a victim. If this person was white, as I said, and they did the same thing, you would see nobody saying, well, this person is obviously a victim. You wouldn't see people sending out statements saying, well, of course, this person is obviously a victim too. It's a tragedy. No. And then on top of that, one of your main concerns is, oh, please, can people use the right pronouns? Look, if one of your main concerns is that people use the right pronouns, you need help. And I truly mean it when I say this. You need help. And please, not only for me, but for everybody else who has common sense, seek it. Why people are so scared to tell it how it is, I don't know. This is a hate crime. It was a targeted attack on a Christian school. A trans person went into a school and shot people in a Christian school. Is that not a hate crime? Or are we just supposed to be like, oh, no, because it's Christians and they're white, it possibly can't be a hate crime, right? That's the state we're in right now. That is so bizarre to me. But let's just focus on some more facts here, right? Because people like to ignore those things. Let's just look at this interview that police officer John Drake gave after this event occurred, and it really paints a picture and adds more context to the whole thing. Take a listen.
No history at all.
And no motive at this point? Anything discovered in the apartment or house?
No, we have a manifesto. We have some writings that we're going over that pertain to this day, the actual incident. We have a map drawn out of how this was all going to take place. There's right now a theory of that we may be able to talk about later, but it's not confirmed, and so we'll put that out as soon as we can.
And Chief, is there any reason to believe that how she identifies simply with white?
I'm sorry, I knocked someone's mic over. I didn't hear you. Say that again, sir.
Is there any reason to believe that how she identifies has any motive for targeting the school?
We can give you that at a later time. There is some theory to that. We're investigating all the leads, and once we know exactly, we'll let you know.
So was this a targeted attack?
It was.
Was this the only school that was targeted?
It was the only school that was targeted. There was another location that was mentioned, but because of a threat assessment by the suspect, too much security, they decided not to. And that area was here in Nashville, so we're continuing with that investigation as well. Right now, we believe it's a lone assailant, and we don't anticipate any further damage at this time.
So yeah, he looks pretty shocked and traumatized by the whole thing. It'd be very hard not to be. The more you think about it, right, and put away everything, and this is what people on the internet, especially from the liberal side, they just fail to recognize, right, because obviously they're trans and we're supposed to feel sorry for this person who did these crimes. These parents are going to have to bury their own kids. Now, I don't have kids, right? Some of you may do, but to think about it, right, and to bury your own child, that is one of the hardest things to do as a parent, I would imagine, right? And no parent should have to go through that. But as he says, you know, it was a targeted attack, as we said. There were many other locations considered, or there was another location considered. And the way this person identified could have been, it is a theory, it could have been a motive as to why they did this. But this whole thing, you know, obviously brings up another debate, especially for the people who want to ignore the motives of this person, is the whole gun debate, the gun control thing. Now, as a British guy, right, I don't think it's right of me to say, yeah, Americans, you all need to do this. I can't tell America how to live their lives, how their laws should work, right? Because we have our own issues. We have knife crime issues. For some reason in this country, we seem to think, you know, our country's better than everybody else's and we should tell everybody how to live. I think we have a lot of issues we need to fix ourselves. But I do think, if I was to give an opinion, right, I do think, as this officer stated, more security around schools would deter these things, because this person who did these crimes was going to go to another location, but because there was more security, they thought, wait, no, I'll go to another one. So why not just fund schools and protect them? You know, it's very easy for the US government to send billions to Ukraine and fund wars they have nothing to do with, but they can't fund their own schools, protect their own schools. That's very odd. I also think there's an issue with the person behind the gun. Clearly, whatever motive they had, right, this person is mentally ill. Any person who feels compelled to do these things is mentally ill. If you get rid of the guns, you're still going to have mentally ill people who will want to do bad things and will seek the easiest way possible to do so. You know, removing the guns isn't like a magic spell. You remove them, bang, everybody's, wait, whoa, I don't want to do anything now. No, you're still going to get evil people. It's deeply rooted. You can't just remove the guns and expect the curse to go away. What the issue is, I don't personally know. I don't think the US government knows. But talking of the US government, Joe Biden, I'm sure you've all seen this as well. I have never seen anybody so incompetent in my life. I'm telling you this now, as a British guy, right? Our politics isn't great. Our government isn't great. When I look at Joe Biden, it makes our politicians look amazing. So Fox News cut to Joe Biden addressing people on this Nashville shooting, right? And when they cut to him, instead of him taking it all seriously, he was saying, I'm Dr. Jill Biden's husband, and I like chocolate chip ice cream. Take a watch.
Room of the White House.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream. By the way, I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. God. Ben, how are you, pal? One of the best guys in the United States Congress, Ben Cardin. Folks, welcome to the White House. It's a delight to have you all here. And who are those good-looking kids back there? They're your kids, all four of them? Well, stand up, guys.
John, we'll jump back in here. Considering the moment.
You know, if this wasn't a Democrat, and if the shooting was surrounding a different narrative, there would be calls to remove the president from office. This is the president of the United States of America, one of the most powerful countries in the world. No, this is an absolute joke. But that is the end of the episode, ladies and gentlemen. If we get any more information surrounding the manifesto, etc., I'll pin a comment. I really doubt we will within the next 24, 48 hours. In fact, I expect the news to forget about this within the next week because it doesn't fit the certain narrative. That's just how it works. It's going to take people who talk about these issues, people on social media, to keep on reminding people that this happened. You can't let people forget that this took place. That is for certain. I just want to say again, my thoughts and prayers are with the families involved, the school, Nashville as a whole. It's a horrifying event. You know, when I saw this being played out, the day that it happened, it was nighttime for me almost, and I see what was going on. I was like, what? Wow. And then you learned about the ages of the people that had their lives taken. There's really no words, if I'm going to be honest. If you have enjoyed today's video, then please, for me, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that big red subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. But until next time, until tomorrow, it has been your boy JD. Make sure to always have a great day and stay safe. I'm out. Peace.